today about bunions. And we've got this little foot model here for you all to see so we can show you what a bunion is. I think there's a lot of people who think that a bunion, tell me if you think this as well, Lydia, they think that a bunion is basically a lump on their foot.
Yes.
So they don't actually understand that a bunion is actually the position of the bones and how they've moved.
Yes.
So a lot of talk about bunions has to do with the first ray, which is these bones down here, so your big toe joint bones and further back, particularly the first metatarsal. So a bunion is actually, the technical name for a bunion is actually called hallux abductovalgus, HAV. That's what we would call it in our notes at the podiatry clinic, HAV. So what that means is the hallux, which is the big toe, has actually abducted and turned into a valgus position. And that's what creates, I'll try and show you with my bones, that's what creates this lump here. It's not actually like you have a growth that grows there and causes a bunion. It's actually the position of the toe and how it's changed. Now there's different stages in bunions. We usually say stage 1, 2 and 3. And it depends on the severity of how much this toe has abducted and turned into a valgus and rotated. And once it becomes quite severe, the second and third and fourth toes can all kind of like start clawing on top of each other, and that's quite a severe bunion, and that would 9 times out of 10 end in surgery.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things that we can do when it's stage 1 and when it's stage 2 to slow down the progression of the bunion so that it never becomes a stage 3. We can't actually stop bunions from forming, but we can slow down progressions. And Lydia at the end is going to go through a few techniques and things that we use as podiatrists to slow down the progression of a bunion. So first of all, the reasons why people might get bunions. So a lot of people think that just because you wear high heels or tight pointed shoes that you will always get a bunion. It's not necessarily the case. We have seen children who are 10 years old who do not wear high heels, who are boys, and have bunions. Hi, whoever's on there. And so it's not always footwear, although footwear will exacerbate a bunion if you are predisposed to it. So a lot of people also say that they inherited their bunions from their grandma or their mum or their dad. You don't actually inherit a bunion as such, you inherit the biomechanics. So you inherit the length of the bones, and you inherit the way your knees might turn in and your hip position and all that. So you can inherit biomechanics, but you don't necessarily inherit a lump on the side of your foot. So you can get bursitis, which is an inflammation on the joint. You can get arthritis in there. You can have other contributing factors which will make your bunion worse. But it's not just like you can come in and have a lump taken off like you can a corn or a wart. It's not quite that simple.
No.
So we see them a lot, and we have really good success rates with treatment modalities. And I'll get Lydia to actually go into the different types of treatment, maybe starting at, you know, what you do early on compared to what you do when it's a stage 3 and it's quite a gross deformity.
Yes. So we'll start with treatments. Now, as Nicole was saying, and I might just take that foot model if you don't mind.
I love these bones.
With the actual foot structure, I'll come a bit closer. It's that angle that we're trying to avoid. And when I say that angle is that first metatarsal pushing inwards, which we like to say inwards is medial, and that big toe pushing outwards, so it causes this disoriented figure. We can try to prevent this angle with starting with strapping. Now, an effective way of strapping that would be placing a strap on the side, underneath, and under the top. So side, underneath, and on the top. And if you repeat that 3 times, what that will do, it will pull the toe so that straightens, and it will maintain and stabilize that joint. So if you utilize that on an everyday basis, and it's really important to strap when you do weight-bearing activities like running, walking, that's a way of preventing that angle formation from going that way. What else you can do is get silicone toe separators. So if you go to the chemist or even the podiatry clinics, there is a lot of suppliers out there that will provide you a silicone base that will separate the two toes so it stops that angle from forming on the side. It's a really easy tool. You just slip it on and it'll just stop that rubbing and any discomforts associated from a bunion formation. For those who are concerned and want to make sure that they get that separation at all times, you can actually even utilize a night splint. So the night splints, you only really want to use it at nighttime because it can quite be a struggle to put in your shoes, but you can use a night splint in the night and then use a toe separator or strapping method in the daytime. Now, that itself can be quite an inconvenient process, and some people, or most people, just I want this progression to slow down, and I want to do it in the easiest but in the most effective way. This is where we introduce orthotics. Now, orthotics will do the job in trying to optimize as much as a stable joint alignment as possible by preventing those biomechanics, which is the function of your joints, from causing the bunion formation. So if we can get an effective an orthotic to stop that excessive movement and that angle deformation, then that's something that can really help slow the progression from going from a stage 1 to a stage 3, where you're likely to have a lot of other complications, not just the bunion itself. Now, when we get to the stage 3, it can get hard to treat with conservative treatment. So this is where we would introduce you to surgical. So surgical itself is the only method that will correct that actual appearance and the alignment. So that will involve screws and fixtures to make sure that we can achieve that straight angle. So see a podiatrist, have a consultation, see what treatment is the most appropriate for you, and we at the Brindapella Podiatry Clinic will provide you the best treatment option we think that's suitable for your everyday lifestyle, your expectations, and just trying to keep you active. I'll bring it back to Nicole.
Well, I think that's about it. I hope you found this useful today, and if you do have any questions, please jump on the phone to ask. There's 5 podiatrists here who are more than happy to take the call and talk to you personally. Otherwise, if you found this useful and you'd like anyone else to watch it, then make sure you like our live and tag your friends and share away, because we want to get as much information out to the community as possible. And if you have any ideas on any other conditions or problems or things that you would like us to talk about, maybe it's not something that you are directly you have a problem with, but maybe your child or maybe your grandma or maybe someone else who you think might benefit from something, then just write down below what you would like us to talk about, and we will pull all our brains together and give you as much information as possible. Between the 5 of us, we've got like 20, 40, 60, like 80 years or something experience, so we should be able to help you.
Yes.
All right. Have a fantastic Thursday.
See you.